Hey, this is Bonnie. Welcome to the Bonnie Life, where life happens. It is freezing today. It is 6:54 a.m. I haven't slept yet, but I know Dennis is going to want a hot meal when he comes home because he's going to be working outside in the cold. So something I can quickly put together that it'll be ready when I wake up, and then I can wait and throw it together at the last minute while he's on his way home. I am making a beef pot pie. So here is what you need for this very simple recipe. A refrigerated pie crust. These are canned whole potatoes. I'll cut those up. I have a little over a pound of stew meat. Mixed vegetables, frozen. That's all I have in the house. I have no way of getting out. Normally I would use frozen peas and a bag of frozen carrots. And some beef broth. And the seasonings and everything I add to it will be later. But to begin with, I am just going to I don't even have my tripod out. I'm going to put my beef in the crock pot. Okay, I just put the meat in the crock pot, and all I'm going to do is cover it with broth. And after the meat cooks out of it, I will be using that to make my gravy. So, to give you an idea of the amount of broth I'm using, this is I can't see. This is 48 ounces, and I'm going to say half. I used half of that, so 24 ounces of beef broth is what I'm starting with. And I'm just going to put that on low. I'm going to put the lid on it. I'm going to set it on low. And I'm going to go to sleep. It's just going to smell real good while I sleep. So, yeah, I'm going to leave everything out, and I'll show you where I go from here. But it's a real super, super easy recipe. If it ain't easy, I ain't doing it. Okay, I'll be back and show y'all what I do next after I wake up. Night-night. Good morning. It's 3:07 in the afternoon. So I only slept, what, 9 hours or so? 8.5 hours? Oh my goodness. So I'm just going to take a peek. I'm going to get a fork. It should be nice and tender. Look at that. Woo! This is a good base for any kind of beef soup, beefy noodle. But yeah, that looks awesome. Smells great. I'm going to take a little taster. Delish. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it to warm because Dennis has 2 hours before he gets off work. This is going to be the most longest cooking meal ever, but I haven't had to do anything. I'm just chilling and it's cooking. So I'll come back and show you when I throw it all together. Is this even a recipe? I don't even know. Okay, we're getting down to the wire. Dennis gets off work in about 20 minutes. And I'm going to remove some of this broth that I used and put it into a bowl. And what I'm going to do is make a slurry. Should use something bigger than this, but this will work. I don't want to do the slurry in the pot because the meat will shred into bits because it's been cooking for so long. So that's about it. I don't know how many of these I took out. I'm going to add 2 or 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, which I forgot to tell you. Cornstarch. Normally this is best done with cold water, but it'll slurry up in this. There's a teaspoon and a heaping. There's no exact science to it. You just want to make a slurry, so it'll thicken and make a gravy. So I'm going to use a whisk and just whisk my slurry up until there's no lumpies in it. You could use milk or water to do this. I'm just using this to preserve the beef taste. So here's what this is looking like. It's a beef broth slurry. It'll thicken everything up. I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 425. I always check to make sure there's nothing left in there. There's not. Okay, I'm going to return this slurry into the pot. And now I'm going to go ahead and add my veggies. Okay, here's my frozen veggies going in. Okay, here is my can of potatoes, which I have drained. I'm going to put them out onto a cutting board and just cut them up. And add them to it. Give it a good mix. So you can see that we have the nice, let me back you out a little bit so you can see better. We have the nice chunks of beef with peas, carrots, corn. Normally it would just be peas and carrots, but you got to work with what you got. That's all I had in the house, and this is a use what you can find in the house day. The only seasoning I'm going to add to this is some pepper. That little mix. It's looking beautiful. Alright, I'll let that thicken up on high. Put the lid back on. And then we'll assemble it. So your oven's at 425 and it's going to cook for 45 minutes. So I'll be back, guys. Okay, change of plans. The time went by and I didn't have time, so I have to bring this to a boil in order for that slurry to make a good gravy. So I just transferred it to a pan for the last bit because Dennis is going to be home earlier than expected and I want to have it ready for him when he comes in. So while that's coming to a boil, I'm going to prepare the crust. Okay, so I'm using this Pillsbury pre-made crust. I'm such a cheater. And I'm just going to open it up and roll it out into the pan. Ooh, that's already boiling. It's going to be a gravy in no time. It doesn't take extra time. It speeds things up if you do that. The only problem I have with it is it's an extra dish to wash, and I don't like washing dishes. Okay, so I'm just going to spread this out in here. Who has time to make pie crust? I mean, if you have time, my daughter always makes hers homemade. Everything I do is lazy cooking. Maybe that's what I should call it. Just Bonnie's lazy recipes. I'm going to bring it up because I want it all the way up around the edges of the pan. Now this can be made with any leftover. If you made a pot roast or a stew and you have leftovers from that, save it. You can easily turn it into a oh, this looks so good. I want you to hear that. That is a big rolling boil, and that's what you want to thicken your gravy. That is a very nice gravy. I'm going to go ahead and take it off the heat and start putting my pie together. If you make too much of this, another tip is that you can always freeze it. And then when you want to make a pot pie, you just get a pie crust and you pull your filling out of the freezer and off you go. So here I am filling up my pie, and it looks like it's the perfect amount for 2 pies. That looks good. I didn't even taste it. I just know it's gonna be good. Another thing you could do with leftovers is turn it into a beef soup. Just freeze whatever you have left and use it for whatever you want. So I had quite a bit left there. And now for my top layer. Okay, my top layer, it's okay. I ripped it a little bit. I am just going to do the same. Just unroll it over the top. Okay, so my top layer I'm just going to press down around my edges. And I really don't want to cut off my crust. I really like a fluffy crust. So I'm just going to flute it by pinching around the edges like that. Whatever is left over. It can be as pretty as you want, or it can just be as simple as you want. You just do you. Okay, so this is ready, except for I am going to do a really light egg wash on it. I'm just gonna wash it. That's gonna give it a real pretty glazy crust. Oh, it's opening up. It's hot. There we go. I can slather that around. Oh no, I'm tearing up my pie. It got really soft. Perfect. Perfect except for that. So now I'm just gonna make some venting holes, which I don't really need to do because it's already done. And I am going to let that cook. That looks terrible. That looks terrible. My daughter would crucify me for that. Okay. I'm going to bake that at 425 for 45 minutes. So I will be right back. I forgot to mention that before you put it in the oven. I'm fighting everything today. You want to cover the sides. Look at that precious piece of tin foil I just created. Good golly, Miss Molly. So you just want to cover the sides. The oven's ready for it. That will keep your, because it's just really easy for those sides to get too dark, especially when you're cooking it for 45 minutes. Hope you're able to hear me over all that. So just make a little cover for to go around the crust so that the direct heat doesn't hit it. There's a much better way to do it. I'm just really rushing because I don't like Dennis to come home and not have a meal ready. Actually, he usually brings home food, so when I do cook though, I want him to get it as soon as he gets here. And put it on a cookie sheet in case it boils over. That's my last bits of advice before this thing goes in the oven and we don't see it again until it comes out. Okay, now I will be back. Okay, y'all, it is done. Oh gosh, it looks so tasty and it smells delicious. So there's my pie. Dennis just called. He's stopping to take a picture of the sunset for me because he said it's beautiful. And I will let it sit because he's about 20 minutes out. And when he gets here, it'll be ready to serve. So, bon appetit. Okay. Oh wait, I'm zoomed in. Hang on. I can't see. I'm blind. Oh my gosh, I'm blind.
Pretty hot.
I can see the steam.
Mm-hmm.
Blow on it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Is it alright?
Yeah, yeah.
Alrighty then.
Good to go.
Good to go. Tasty. Bye guys. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.